Oh, hey YouTube. Well, I can't really show the gun in the video because YouTube seems to not like that, so never mind. Doesn't matter. Not really needed for this particular video. It's just a cheap way for you to bore sight your rifle, the way I used. So I made sure that everything was zeroed off, and what I used was, hang on, let me get it, tape measure. I just made sure that everything on the scope was centered as much as humanly possible, because obviously the dials, you want to make sure that all the dials are right on in the middle. I found, so I just wound it out as far as it went, checked its size. I think it was 15 mil, so I knew that 7.5 mil was the halfway point, which is where it needed to be. And basically it was the same for the top, going up and down and left and right, so not too bad there. So what I did after that is I first attempted to use paper in my mount to get it to sit where I wanted, because it didn't quite sit where I wanted. I actually found it didn't work well. The paper trick, which is, you just put a bit of paper wadding where you want to push the scope just slightly in the direction you want it to go, so it sits where you want. It does, look, it will work, and I found that it did push the scope towards where you wanted it in some ways. So I wanted to mount it so I could get the dust cap on the scope, but not to be. With my rifle, it did not like that at all. I tried many methods, and the paper wadding was just a waste of time. And moving forward, this is how I got my scope on, basically bore sighted. So I pointed the scope at one of the walls. I think the wall was about 2.5 meters away. Yeah, maybe, 2.5 meters would be a fair estimate. And then I just used torch. Shine a torch down the barrel. You can also do something like that. And I just basically tightened up my lugs so that my scope was about on center with the light against the wall. That was it. There was no fancy science behind it. There was no complicated method of needing to buy expensive equipment and mounts and whatnot, and having to do all this fiddle farting around just to get what you want. When we took it out to the farm to use, took first 5 shots with it to see where it was hitting. It was actually already hitting. It was only missing. It was about, my one was about 6 inches low, and I believe it was about 4 inches to the left, and that was at 30 meters. So once we zeroed it on 30, it all pretty much lined up after that, because a lot of these scopes, they have like meterage adjustment, and then that adjusts the how much height you need to put on it. So I hope that helps you guys out there if you're trying to sight your rifle in and don't really know what to do. That's okay. I think you find that this method will get you pretty close. There's no perfect method out there. There's no method out there that's gonna get you like 99% of the way there. It is a bit of trial and error. I will say the first time didn't quite, made a couple mistakes. I mounted the rings too close together. I watched the video, and the guy said, look, put your rings as wide as you can on the scope, which is what I did. And and I didn't check to see, I didn't bore sight it or anything, so it was missing by a mile the first time, and that's why it was really hard to get it on target. But then the second time, after getting over my ego and all that, and just going and trying to fix it up properly, was able to do that. No one suggested that I use the torchlight trick. The only irritating thing is you have to do it in a darkish room, enough so that you can actually see the light against the wall. And you'd be surprised how close that will actually get you. So you don't need to do all this measuring and checking and mounting on. No. And to be honest, how we got it like pretty bullseye centered was we just rested the gun on a couple of cement bags so that it wasn't moving around. Put it on where we wanted and took our shot. All right, as long as you were aiming the same spot, it was like pretty easy to figure out where exactly it was hitting its mark. So again, don't need any special mounts. Obviously, don't need to. Just give it a go. If you're starting out and shooting, and you're having trouble with that kind of thing, then it's not going to hurt you to try. I mean, you just go through a box of 100 rounds or something like that, and I don't think it'll take that many rounds. Like, if you bore-sighted it, you'd be pretty close. You're probably only going to need about, I think if you're doing it by yourself and you're not just having fun with friends and sharing it around, I reckon you'd only need about, really, probably about 10 or 15 bullets, but let's say 30. I think 30 is a pretty fair estimate. It is not an easy task to do. It's a pain in the backside. So for people out there that think, oh yeah, and you know, they might use a rifle that someone else has already sighted in, they don't realize how much annoyance goes in behind it to actually get it right where you want it and go, aha, that's hitting bullseye. Like, that's not actually as easy as it looks, and there is a bit of finessing, but this method I found works well. You could use it with a laser pointer. I think that would work just fine. To use a laser pointer to line up where you want it to go. And yeah. If you've got a laser pointer, obviously a torch is what I use because I don't have a laser pointer. Why would I need a laser pointer for? So basically, you know, things like that. You just everyday things you can do. You can do it at home. You don't need to be, yeah. Anyway, peace, guys. Have a good day and enjoy your shooting and whatnot. And hope to see you on the next video. Bye.